Marcus. Tell me what you think about Christ. Made their sacrifice now. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation, all our but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Oh Lord, so many can testify. Lord, oh Lord, but you still can't satisfy. You keep on praying. You wish that day would come when there'll be equal rights and justice for every man. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite. What you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Tell me what you think about justice, brother man. Oh, tell me what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation, child, child. Let us unite.
The St. Kitts and Nevis Chamber of Industry and Commerce would like to remind persons when patronizing businesses to abide by the following COVID-19 guidelines to protect employees, customers, and our community. Urge employers to check employees and customers with a non-contact head thermometer on arrival to a business place. It's mandatory that employees wear a face mask when at work and in the presence of others. No customers will be permitted to enter an establishment without a face mask. Encourage both employees and customers to wash their hands with soap and water or sanitize their hands with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer of at least 60% alcohol when entering a building, after interacting with customers, and throughout the day. Remember to maintain 6 feet physical and social distancing. Consider installing barriers such as sneeze guards or partitions in high traffic areas to limit close contact between employees and customers. Clean and disinfect highly touched surfaces such as doorknobs, telephones, cash registers, bathrooms, tables and countertops regularly throughout the day. Offer e-commerce services or curbside pickup options wherever possible. Encourage good hygiene practices among staff and customers by posting signs and posters in the business place. For more information and tips to consider, visit www.covid19.gov.kn.
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
Good morning once again, and welcome back to the morning show. It's now time for our program, Policing with You. In the studio with me, no strangers to our studio, but one in particular is in rotation. That's Superintendent Francis. He's the host for this morning. Good morning to you, sir.
Morning. Morning, GQ. Morning to everybody.
And good morning to you, Superintendent Kwame Henry.
Good morning, GQ, and good morning to your listening audience.
Thank you for being here once again.
Thank you for having me.
Gentlemen, what's on the agenda for this morning?
Okay, GQ, we're going to jump straight into it. The entire Caribbean Premier Cricket League will take place here in St. Kitts and Nevis at Warner Park from August the 26th to September the 15th. These games usually come with a great level of hype and excitement. However, the COVID-19 virus have caused everything to change. Here in the studio with me, I have Superintendent Henry, Divisional A Commander, to explain the security circumstances surrounding this year's Caribbean Cricket League. Welcome, Superintendent Henry.
Thank you, Superintendent, and always happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Now, the Caribbean Premier League will have the same high-level cricket action anyone would expect, but many things are going to be different. Let's start with who can attend and how many persons would be able to go to this cricket league?
Well, we know that the league is being played this year under different circumstances. We are in the height of a global pandemic, and locally in our own situation here, we are having our own situation with a spike in corona cases, COVID-19 cases. And so the league the games will not be the same. So we have taken a number of precautions to ensure that public health is not impacted negatively as a result of the games. And one of such precautions is to only permit persons who are vaccinated to attend the games.
Okay.
We know that studies have shown that persons who are vaccinated, they are low risk of contracting and low risk of transmitting the virus to other persons. And so while one would say, well, if I am vaccinated, you could still get it, that is true, but your risk is reduced. And so it's all about reducing the risk. We are not guaranteeing that if you're vaccinated, you cannot get it. We know that is not so, but we are reducing the risk, and we have to do all that we can do to reduce the risk. So the vaccination, being vaccinated, along with the other prevention measures, would ensure that we're able to have a safe games. One of the other measures taken to ensure safety and public health is to reduce the number of persons attending. We know that crowded spaces and a lack of social or physical distance promotes spread of the virus. And so to reduce the numbers and to allow for physical distancing, the number of persons allowed in the stadium has been reduced by half.
By half?
Right.
And how much would that be?
Only 50% of the capacity of the stadium will be permitted to attend the games. We know the stadium capacity is 8,000.
8,000, okay.
So 50% of that is 4,000. Even without the pandemic, it's difficult to get 4,000 people in the stadium. And so we don't anticipate that we're going to have 4,000 people in the stadium. But given the size of this space, even at 4,000, you should be able to have some reasonable physical and social distancing. So we don't anticipate we're going to have 4,000 size crowd in the stadium, So we should be able to maintain that physical distance that is required. So being vaccinated and improve the physical distancing are some of the two main measures to ensure the safety of the games from a public health standpoint.
Thank you very much. Another question would be that although we are happy that a lot of and all of the matches will be played here, so the question is, spectators, will all the matches have spectators?
No, for various reasons, some of the games spectators would not be permitted. I think 8 of the 33 games would be played without spectators. So, for example, the match today and tomorrow, the 10 a.m. games, there will be no spectators. However, there's a 7 p.m. game this evening that would have spectators. So, on the 26th, the 27th, the 31st of August, the 1st of September, the 2nd of September, the 7th of September, the 8th of September, and the 9th of September. Those 8 games that are played at 10 a.m. would not have spectators.
Those are the weekday games.
Those are the weekday games, mostly, right? And for good reason. There's some economics in it too. The low spectator turnout would be anticipated, and so they do not want to incur all the expenses and do not have the crowd size to cover some of the expenses. So one of the reasons I'm certain is economic.
Well, they did say that. They were on the air on ZIZ, and they did indicate that.
Right. So that those games, because the spectator turnout is likely to be low, they have chosen not to have spectators. But of course, the matches would be aired, broadcast on television
and radio,
so that persons who are diehard cricket lovers, they can still enjoy the game in some respect.
Never lot here in saying it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they still have an opportunity to see the games.
Yeah. And don't get it mixed up. On the weekends, you are allowed.
Yes, the 10 o'clock games on the weekends. So on the 4th of September and the 5th of September, that's Saturday and Sunday, at 10 a.m., spectators will be allowed. Similarly, on the 11th and 12th of September, that's a Saturday and a Sunday, games, spectators will be permitted at the 10 a.m. games. Also, this Saturday, the 28th and 29th. So this Saturday and Sunday, the 10 a.m. games will have spectators. Only the weekday games at 10 a.m. would not have spectators.
Okay, thank you, Superintendent. Now, we have indicated early in this program that COVID-19 have changed everything, and it so too affects the games. Now, what can persons expect when entering the park to go and attend the games?
Well, you could expect the usual security measures that has always been in place. Once you're entering the stadium, there is a requirement for security screening. So you would have security personnel having their wands, and they would give you a little pat down to ensure that you're not carrying any prohibited item, weapons of any sort. They will search your bags again to ensure that you're not carrying any prohibited item. So that usual security screening at the entrance will be in place. But additionally, again, because of the pandemic and the virus that we are dealing with, there are additional measures that we have to take so that persons upon entering, they would have present evidence of their vaccination status. I said earlier, only vaccinated persons can enter. So you have to show that you are vaccinated. So you must present your vaccination card and a photo ID, a government-issued photo ID, just to establish that you are who you say you are. There will be your temperature will be taken, to ensure that you do not have a high temperature, which would be an indication of something being wrong with you. And your contact tracing details will be taken. So your name, your address, your telephone number, those information necessary to find you should something go wrong, will be taken at the entrance before you enter. We have a system in place to make that process a little easier. So we know that you would have to wait in line for the security screening to go on. So while you're waiting in line, we will have volunteers. CPL have a team of volunteers those volunteers would be in the lines, and they'll be doing all of this before you get to the security point.
Okay.
So you don't have to wait until you've reached by the gate to give your name and to give all those things. While you're waiting in the line to be searched, the volunteers would come around and they would take your names, they would do your temperature check,
Okay.
and they would sanitize you. You know, they would do all of that while you're in the line.
Right.
So that by the time you reach the security point, you just do your search and
You go.
you go.
Okay.
So you don't have to wait again after the security check to do all of that.
Right.
So you have to wait anyway, because there must be a line.
Right.
There will be a line,
But the wait will be minimized.
but the wait to be minimized, because while you're waiting in the line to be searched, this information will be taken from you.
Okay.
So that by the time you're searched, you don't have to stop to give the information again. So the last step of the process would be to you'll be sanitized, hand sanitized again. So you would, once you're searched, you would present your ticket to the gates person, and then you'll be sanitized again by another volunteer, and you're shown to your seat in the stadium. So you'll be sanitized at the beginning of the process by the volunteers before they take your card and all of that. And at the end of the process, you'll be sanitized, hand sanitized again, so that you should be coming in the stadium with clean hands. And of course, there will be hand sanitizing stations throughout the stadium. We expect that persons would make good use of them.
So in light of the changes and these things, we are asking general public to be patient with us.
Be patient and to come early.
Come early.
The earlier you come, the better it is. The gates will be open an hour and a half before each match.
Okay.
So if it's a 7 o'clock match, gates will be open at 6:30. 6:30 or 5:30?
5:30.
5:30. 5:30, right. So that we don't expect you to come at 10 to 7 and then complain that you have to wait in the line for so long.
You
You
understand?
have a whole hour and a half. If everybody come early, by 7 o'clock, most
Should be in.
people should be
Yeah.
should be in, because the process would not take that long.
Right.
So we ask persons to come early. Another important point that I need to make here is that the Ministry of Health has just announced that they're issuing digital vaccination cards. So persons, they started, I think, Tuesday issuing them. I went yesterday and I got mine, so I know the process is happening. You can go to the ICT center at the industrial site, walk with your physical card and an ID, and they would give you a digital card. Now there would be a special line, 2 special lines actually, at the entrance point for persons with the digital cards. Once those lines will be fast tracked, because there will be no need for someone to write down the information.
Right.
So you will scan. You go in that line, someone will scan your phone, or if you print it, it's better if you have it on your phone, because that's the whole purpose of making it digital. You just present the ID on the card on your phone, someone will scan it, and your details will be logged in the database. So there will be no need to write. So rather than taking 2 minutes to write your name and address, the scanner will take 2 seconds
Just pull your phone
to
and
scan. Pull the phone, scan it, information is there, and you move on. So those lines will be faster, and so we encourage persons to
take advantage of that.
take advantage and get your digital card so that you move faster through the line.
So even if you're a little late,
If you're
you get
late,
fast.
You know, you'll be moving faster than the persons who are presenting the physical card, because the volunteers are going to ask you to show your card even before you get to the line. So you would not be allowed to go in the line unless you have a card. So you'll do best to have your digital card and then move faster through the fast track line.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Now, security surrounding these hype cricket matches is very, very, very important. That security have to be placed first. Okay. In light of the COVID pandemic, what security measures are in effect with reference to these games?
Yes, well, like I mentioned, there are a list of prohibited and restricted items, and mainly what we consider prohibited items is anything that will be used as a weapon. Firearms, we know that's the first thing that comes to mind when we think of weapons sometimes. No person will be allowed to enter the stadium with a firearm except police officers or soldiers or custom officers, prison officers who have firearms issued by their departments. Only security personnel will be allowed to enter the stadium with firearms. So those persons who have licensed firearms we ask that you deposit them at the Bastille police station, or any police station for that matter, which is ever is convenient to you, before you go to the stadium, because the security would not allow you to enter the stadium with any firearms. Any other item that could be used as a weapon, a knife, a baseball bat, a hammer, anything that could be used as a weapon.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but
That
Anything
would
the
be-
security deemed to be used as a weapon.
Right. They would not be permitted. You would have to leave it at the checkpoint and before you're allowed to enter. So we ask that persons not to walk with any tool or any other item that could be deemed to be a weapon. Right. So that would be, we'll be very strict on that and not allow persons to enter the stadium with those items.
Yeah, these seem like some good procedures are in place. Now, with reference to protocols, what will the protocols be like inside the stadium?
Well, again, the whole planning was geared towards ensuring the safety, both from a physical perspective, but also from a health standpoint. The basic COVID-19 prevention protocols will still be enforced within the stadium. The same things that we ask you to do on the outside, maintain your physical distance, sanitize your hands, wear your mask, those same protocols would be expected and enforced inside the stadium. So it's not a free-for-all because everybody in there vaccinated, everybody do as they like. You still be expected to wear your mask, you still be expected to maintain your physical distance, and you still be expected to sanitize as much as possible. So persons who are, if you come as a family, then of course you could be together, you could sit close because you'll be close in your household anyway. But if you're not from the same household, we expect you to maintain the same distance. And the question of family, I would want to indicate that we know presently children are not vaccinated. And so persons have been asking, well, can I bring my son if he's not vaccinated? The answer will be yes. If you are vaccinated, you could be accompanied by your unvaccinated minor. So the minors would only be permitted if they are accompanied by a vaccinated parent or guardian, and they are expected to be together. So you cannot be in the stands and the child is on the mound, or vice versa. Wherever you go in the stadium, your minor child must be present with you. So minor children are allowed in the stadium, but only if they are accompanied by a vaccinated adult.
Yes, sir. Let me ask this question before we take a break, GQ. Now, we are in the stadium, cricket is going on, everybody is hype, and we are accustomed to party stand. So the question is, will there be a party stand?
Well, no. The short answer is no.
Short answer is no.
There will be no party stand. I've heard an announcement that they have renamed it to the Sunshine Premium Stand. But there will be no party stand. The regulations has specifically restrict the use of music in the stadium.
I'm just going to ask you, so no music, no...
The regulation says there shall be no music
Wow.
in the stadium. And so we will not have the type of party atmosphere. And for good reasons. We know when there's music and there is alcohol, there is a lack of control. And so we do not want to have a situation where persons, because I heard they're going to have drink specials. So if you have drink specials and music, you know what's going to happen.
Mask off.
Mask off.
Everybody enjoy themselves.
Everybody shouting and, So we do not want that type of atmosphere because that would not be conducive to what we are trying to do in preventing infections within the stadium. So we ask the public to bear with us and to understand the reason for it. It is a measure to protect you. It is in no way intended to just to damn your enjoyment of the game. You could enjoy the game without music.
sorry, I don't mean to chuckle.
That's okay. I know CPL is promoted as the biggest party in sport.
Telling you.
And I saw something on Facebook where they're comparing it to Sunday school.
So you see what's going on there.
Yeah,
You see what's going on.
I think somebody said it's like gonna be like a prayer meeting. That is how they're describing CPL. But it's for good reasons. We don't want after the big party.
You understand?
Then everybody will complain. Well, how they could allow people to go up there and behave so? Look what happened now.
Right.
We are seeing a surge in cases, and we do not want this surge to be exacerbated by any actions within the stadium. So, in an effort to control and prevent the spread, we are curtailing the type of activities that is not conducive to good health.
Officers, before we take a break, I know you guys are going to be under heavy scrutiny during today's game, based on what you just said. So, which means people will be looking out to see if any music will be played at all. So, if music will be played, how would that be done?
If there's any music played, you might have a 10-second or 20-second when there's a six. When a batsman knock a six, you might hear a 10-second.
It's like a little intro there.
Right, just
to acknowledge the six.
To acknowledge the six and to let the stadium know something just happened. But you would not have the type of music in between change of overs. And
Well, it shouldn't be that way.
It should not be. You would not have the type of music that would have persons dancing to it.
So, which means you guys will be on high alert, and if that's the case, you will shut it down.
Right. Once it becomes unacceptable, then the whole thing would have to stop. So, compliance team will be present. We have safety officers there. We have police officers. So, there is a whole team of persons there to ensure that the games are played in this safe environment as possible.
I hope this is not a case of where, because there's also this discussion where people feel that CPL don't cater to what we are saying here in St. Kitts, and they're going to be doing whatever they want to do, regardless of what the task forces or the police have to say.
No, well, I don't think that is the case, because we've had numerous discussions with the CPL management, and they understand our situation. They have agreed to all our protocols, and these are things that the CPL management has agreed to. It's not something that we are just forcing on them, and they are resisting. They understand, and they have accepted, and they've agreed to all the measures that we have imposed.
So what we see going around right now with that gentleman from CPL is just miscommunication then?
Well, he might have misspoken. I think I heard the interview where he said that there will be drink specials and DJs. I think he might have, misspoken a bit. Maybe he didn't read the regulation, but they understand that there will be no type of music to encourage the type of party that CPL is accustomed to.
Right. Superintendent, forgive me for breaking the protocol this morning.
It's okay.
That's okay. We want the information to be
it's for the benefit of the listeners.
Right. Talk about benefit as it relates to the capacity at the park. I'm reading a question here. But for the benefit of the person, I'm going to read what they said so you can answer it. I tried to answer their question, but I'll let you do it. The question is, if the max is 8,000, and for any particular event before COVID, it's usually more, or don't be over 4,000, then logically, if you still set it at 4,000, you are still at the max. Therefore, during COVID and games, the max should be half the usual, which we should say 2,000.
In fact, the CPL themselves have done some projections, and the highest number that I've seen in their projection is 1,800 that
are likely to come.
That are likely to be in the stadium. It's 1,800. So it's even below that. That person is suggesting that we have as
even below half of the half.
Right. But if it does increase, the most you'll allow is the 4,000 based on the capacity of the stadium.
The most that we will allow is 4,000. Yes.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back. Of course, we're going to be wrapping up our program at about 5:02. Well, we should be finished by 5:02, so we're going to start wrapping up before that so that we can touch base with the guys, Gem Radio 5, in collaboration with us this morning, and Development Bank and Skellig. We have partnered together to bring you live coverage of this morning game live on the radio. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back to take your calls.
In long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and more. Shop online at the most popular websites and stores for quality brands using your national debit or black cards. And take back your time to enjoy all the things that you love to do. Remember, instead of waiting in long ATM lines to withdraw cash, use your national bank cards today.
National Bank, always here.
All right, welcome back. 465-2555. That's 2555. Gentlemen, I'll actually put on your headphones so we can entertain some calls and be, if any, this morning. So, as it relates to, let's see here. Let's make sure we got everything covered. Okay. So over to you, Superintendent. Sorry.
Yes, welcome back, listeners. Superintendent, how will the games affect the normal traffic in the city center?
Well, any activity in the stadium we anticipate would attract a high number of vehicles,
Yes.
because persons attending would drive to the stadium, and so we would expect that parking will be an issue, because we have to ensure that there is smooth flow, and so we have to limit the on-street parking. So Victoria Road, for example, parking will be restricted there. If you go there now, you will realize that parking is only allowed on one side. Maybe for some of the bigger matches, we will restrict parking on both sides, and so that you will find there will be less parking space. Lozak Road also, that will be closed to general vehicular traffic. Only persons with relevant parking passes, will be allowed to enter Lozak Road. So Lozak Road would have some restricted parking and restricted flow. Victoria Road, traffic would only be allowed to flow in one direction. And similarly, Park Range, some parking will be restricted on the western side of Park Range, just under the park wall, and traffic would only be allowed to flow in one direction, upwards. So Lozak Road will be closed, Park Range will be one way, Victoria Road will be one way, parking will be restricted on Park Range, parking will be restricted on Victoria Road. So we know that is going to impact traffic, having reduced the parking space and the directions of flow. So we ask that persons would use alternative parking areas.
Is there any
The
available?
Bastille High School,
Okay.
the grounds was cleared yesterday.
Okay.
And so persons could use the Bastille High School grounds as a parking space, parking point.
Beautiful. So parking mainly restricted around
Around the street, around the stadium.
Around the stadium itself.
Yeah.
Do we have any calls, GQ?
Yes.
You can just disturb me at any point.
All right. No, sorry. We don't have any calls at the moment, but I have a question via YouTube and via Facebook. So, but this is more of a statement for you, Superintendent Henry. They're saying what you're saying doesn't really make much sense. And the main reason for that, the main reason is for us, or let me put it this way. The reason she's saying that it doesn't make any sense, the main reason for everyone to be vaccinated is so that we can live and be free. Just like you want us to be fully vaccinated in order to keep Carnival. Isn't it the same for Music Festival and Jump Up? I don't know if you understand the question statement.
Well, I'm not certain if I understand it. Why he say it doesn't make sense?
But for me, it's
we ask persons to be vaccinated because we want to reduce your risk. And so we are only having vaccinated persons in the stadium because we want the risk to be reduced.
right. I understand that. How I'm interpreting what the person is saying, statement/question. In other words, if everyone is in a bubble already, shouldn't they be allowed to just have fun regardless of the protocols?
Well, remember I said that being vaccinated is not a guarantee that you cannot be infected. It only reduces your risk. And so we still do not want you to be irresponsible and to put yourself in a position that you would increase your risk any further.
Okay.
So following the non-pharmaceutical protocols would further reduce your risk. Remember, we want to reduce the risk to as low as possible. And so vaccination is one reduction method, and following the protocols would reduce your risk even further. So we want to be extra cautious and to ensure that the risk is as low as possible. So we still do not want to be irresponsible and say, if you're vaccinated, you could come in and jump up. Because you will have a situation where after the jumping up, you have some infections.
This person is saying DJ Flames already set up at CPL. Do you guys know about it? And if so, why is he allowed to set up?
Well, if he set up, he could set up to use as a public and public address, because we still need to have the ability to make public announcements within the stadium. So if he set up, that's okay. System could be used as a public address system to make announcements, to ask persons to follow the protocols, to play the ads, those sort of things. They'll be playing ads, they'll be making announcements, and so you need some sound system for that purpose.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask one more question from here, and then I'm going to go to the phone line.
Yes.
This is from Facebook. This person is asking why the police aren't approving promoters to have events at CPL or during the CPL time.
Well, we see we are having a surge in cases at this time, and these type of events are what promotes the spread of the virus.
Super spreaders.
And right, thanks for that. These events could be super spreaders, and so you have a promoter having a big after party, for example, after the games, someplace. You're going to have everybody going to that party. We currently have over 300
active cases,
and most of these persons are not confined in an institution. Most of these persons are at home. And a lot of these people are party fans. Now, what if you have a big fete after the games, and some fellow decide, boy, I feel good today, I want to go. Who is positive, and he decided that he feels good and he wants to go to the fete because his favorite DJ is playing. You see what could happen at that fete. And so we want to reduce those opportunities for persons to be tempted to breach their quarantine or to breach their isolation conditions and go to one of these events. So we have to restrict the opportunities that people would have to do these things.
I understand. All right, that was the last social media question. The last one for the morning is going to be about buses, public transportation, which is not in our conversation this morning. So I'm going to leave that to...
But it's important still, because people are going to be using the buses to go to CPL, and they're going to be using the buses to be transported after CPL.
Well, okay, with that said, then, with that said, I take your point, can't argue that. What are you guys doing about this is what the person is saying. What are you all doing about the busmen who overloading continuously? No police on the roads to spot them, no police at the terminal when they arrive, no police doing nothing. This is adding to COVID increase.
Well, we always ask for persons to be responsible. If you see a bus is overloaded, why would you go in the bus still? In fact, I don't know what they call overloaded, but the current regulation allows for full capacity, so that if the bus is licensed to carry 14 passengers, they can carry the 14 passengers now. So if you're carrying 14 passengers, you're no longer overloaded.
That's under the new regulations.
The new regulation that started on the 23rd of August.
All right.
The buses can carry the full capacity of passengers. So maybe 2 weeks ago, 14 might be overloading. 14 is not overloading now. So they should not be carrying more than 14. But however, they're still required to wear the mask, still required to do the hand sanitization, and they're supposed to keep their windows open, because fresh air circulating in the bus is better than having the same air that everybody is breathing circulating. So we ask persons to be responsible. If you see a bus is overcrowded, do not go on it. Or if you're on it already and the driver is taking up more people, ask to be put out, because your health is what is going to be at risk.
Right.
So be responsible and do the responsible thing. The police cannot be everywhere every time. We do have instances where persons are fined, but as I say, there are more buses and passengers than police.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Good morning.
Yes, hello.
Yes, morning.
Yes, good morning to you, you and the officers here with you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I would like to ask a question based on what I would have overstand the officer to be saying as some of the rules and regulation for the CPL. First, I would like to ask him, won't there be a temperature check for each person, whether people who are just going to view the games or players or anybody. Let me put it this way: for everybody going into the stadium,
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, that is part of the process. Remember, I indicated your temperature check.
Temperature check.
Yes.
That's as you say, right?
Yes.
So, does the temperature check what's the word I'm trying to use?
Determine?
Does it pick up anything, any symptoms or any things that from persons, like maybe they're having a high fever, stuff like that, nature thing? Isn't that what the temperature check is really for?
Yes, that's what it's for.
Right,
Yeah.
right, okay, yes, that is what it's for. So then, well, I mean, you could probably have a low temperature or a regular temp, and you probably might have the symptoms, okay? So let me get over that part. Okay, you're saying that there would be no music playing in terms like of unless it's to maybe announce something. Well, I mean, the thing is to announce something, or maybe just as when a 6 or 4 is hit. But alcohol would be allowed to be served at the games, right?
Yes.
So then, to me, you're kind of defeating the purpose still, because without the music, people create their own excitement by just drinking the alcohol. People create their own excitement. They're going to be loud talking, shouting, and stuff of that nature. So, to me, in taking out the music, to me, is kind of messing up the whole situation. The kind of atmosphere that kind of game usually brings. I don't know if you're looking at the test match going on in England with India and England. And, well, we're not hearing the kind of music that we do have down here. But you're hearing horns and stuff of that nature, which they would usually use for their excitement. So to me, taking out the thing is the music, because the music could be played on the East Mount. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to have a crowd around it. It could be played on the East Mount, and it plays in regular intersessions or sessions as break. You know, we have break, and then it shut down. So you don't. That would still not create the kind of jam session atmosphere that you don't want. But if you're saying you don't have any music at all, but you're allowing alcohol, you know, drinking, people are going to be shouting, doing all kind of stuff because they're drinking, and they're going to create their own atmosphere. So to me, it's defeating the purpose when you're saying that you're having the music, but you're having alcohol sales. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you for that. That is his opinion and as to what will happen if there is no music. We'll wait and see what would happen.
Gentlemen, we're going to wrap it up here. And I want to thank everyone for viewing and listening. And for those of you who sent in your questions via Facebook, YouTube, or BIP. But that's it for us this morning. We're going to get ready for all live broadcasts coming to your compliments. Gem Radio 5 in collaboration with us here, ZIZ, Development Bank, and Skellig. Stay tuned, and don't forget, tonight you'll be allowed to go to the park, not this morning. Games will be live on television as well, on Sportsmax, channel 98, 99. And for those of you who can't afford the Sportsmax package, pardon me, you can see the game on channel 95. It's going to be delayed. By how much time, I do not know. But thanks for being here, gentlemen.
Yes.
And thank you to our sponsor, National Bank.
What you know about love?
Stop standing in long ATM lines to withdraw cash. Use your national debit or black cards to complete a wide variety of transactions at supermarkets, variety stores, gas stations,